Welcome back. This is me and my McLane. Going to continue on my series of videos leading up to this season 2025. Going to do some yard reno here. This is going to go back from 2006 to present. And this is basically right here 2006 when I bought this house. You see, the gentleman that lived here before liked his privacy. Lots of moss, and there's a hump right here coming down the middle of the grass. So my first renovation was just a quick, easy, pull some trees out, pull some bushes out, get some new grass in, get that hump out. And it turned out really good. Planted a bunch of flowers, bulbs, things like that. It was pretty low maintenance. Then we're going to move all the way ahead to 2022. 2022 was when I started to do my most major renovation. I took out that tree and planted some tall fescue. You know, I just wanted to have a tall fescue lawn, and it did not turn out so great. 2023, I replaced that tall fescue, and I started this, my fairway grass with a putting green. This project turned out really good, but I had some issues I wasn't happy with. So last year, 2024, I started over and I did this. Still have the putting green. I just changed the Kentucky bluegrass type. And let's just go ahead and dive into my yard renovations. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how you can have a successful yard renovation. So after this renovation video, we're going to start getting into some of the McLane videos, working on the McLane reel mower and getting you more info on that. But right now, let's go ahead and get started with 2006. I'm sorry, this is 2022 right here. 2022, I had this dead tree in my yard and it needed to go. So I had a friend remove it. Came out and cut it down. Ended up with this big old stump. That stump technically is about 5 foot round. I rented this stump remover from Home Depot, and I removed the stump, and now I had to deal with a bunch of wood chips from the stump. I had removed roots and everything. It was a really big project. Took me a little while to get this done, but here I took out as much of the wood chips as I could, and I had that big open spot. So I just used some glyphosate, and glyphosate, you could spray it down on your grass and kill it, and spread your grass seed to germinate from that point. It's not going to harm the grass seed. And this is how the tall fescue turned out. I really wasn't happy with it. This is November of 2022. Sorry for the quality of the picture here, but this is showing you the light green patch that I had, which is why I ended up removing this. And in this process here, I just tore it all out. Rented a sod cutter, cut all the grass out. I had these big piles I had when I scraped all the grass up. I was trying to get the roots and everything. This was a really big project, but I sprayed it, killed it, and here I added a extra line for my sprinklers. I only had 2 runs, and I added a third because I just wanted a little bit better coverage, and I had to go under the sidewalk here. And I just added 2 sprinklers all the way at the other side here. I just wanted to get really good water coverage on the putting green, because this is when I was adding the putting green. I decided, I had seen all these videos of people talking about how hard it is to put a putting green in. And, this is not a golf course type, setup on a putting green. This is a at-home putting green. It was very simple. And I tried this because I just watched all these videos that just kept saying how difficult it was going to be and oh, how hard it is and how much maintenance it is. And I did it, and it wasn't that bad. So I rototilled up all this dirt to get all these root balls out of the grass. I really wanted to start fresh with a fresh set of dirt and start this project off right. So I put a lot of time and effort in it. And I did all this work by myself for the most part. I did have a friend help me out a couple days, but I made this sieve here to, shake out all the dirt in the root balls here. And I did this all by hand. Raked everything up into all these big piles. Got 10 yards of topsoil. If you don't know what 10 yards looks like, that's pretty much it. I had already pretty much used half of it. This was the remains of what I pulled out of the yard. And here I am starting to work on leveling and rolling that new topsoil down to get ready for planting grass. This was, a pretty good project right here because, getting everything as level as possible, it was pretty tough. I had a drag there that I made from two 4x4s, put a rope on it. I had my roller, and I basically used that drag pole to drag all that dirt out and roll it in and get it as compact as possible. And here I'm starting on the putting green. Just uses a regular playground play sand, Home Depot. And I just used my drop spreader there and spread that dirt out, and I rolled it. This is just some of the grass I used. This is the fairway grass I put in. It was just a low mow Kentucky bluegrass blend that I got at Amazon. And here's some Pencross creeping bent grass. It has all the information. This was a really good seed quality here that I got for the bent grass. I really like the bent grass. I now wish I had done it all. So here's after I raked all the seed in. I used my drop spreader to spread the seed. I did the Kentucky bluegrass. I did the putting green first and finished it, rolled it, and then I did the Kentucky bluegrass area here. And the difference is I have the peat moss there on the putting green, of course. And then I just raked in the Kentucky bluegrass. I did drop some peat moss on top of the Kentucky bluegrass, and I really liked using the peat moss. Here is my first real mower. I ended up first getting this California trimmer. It was a great mower, but there was one major issue with it. It did not cut short enough. I thought, a 1/4 of an inch was going to be a nice, good shortcut, and it really wasn't. I guess I never realized how short putting greens are. So I ended up getting rid of this. I got this one in April 2023. That's when I did this renovation here. And here I got the starting of the bent grass growing here. It grew really fast. The bent grass germinated and started growing very quickly. You can see here in these pictures the Kentucky bluegrass, very slow. And this is probably a good comparison of the slow germination rate for the Kentucky bluegrass. Now you're going to see here as this continued on, I planted this May 8th, and this is June 1st here, about a month later. And I had some washout with some grass seed because I had some sprinklers that got stuck. And here we're looking at about August of 2023. It turned out really nice. I mean, the color was really good. The putting green turned out really nice. I really liked that bent grass, but that California trimmer, it really wasn't cutting it for me. This is my backyard. I just threw this in because I did do my backyard at the same time because I put that tall fescue in my backyard and it looked like crap. I really did a poor job with that tall fescue that I had put in there. So, this is kind of what it looked like after I planted some It was a tall fescue, but it was a different brand, different blend. And so I just dumped piles of dirt on top of the tall fescue here, and just basically covered the tall fescue. I had sprayed most of the POA that I had in there and killed it off, and I just dumped, piles of dirt back there. And this is the mixture, the seed mixture that I ended up putting back in the backyard in 2023. I thought it was going to be nice. It was a tall fescue type blend. And, what I really figured out from this project here was, blends I trying to stay away from. I ended up taking this out. I got a dethatcher. I basically cut this down. I mean, you can see the light green there. I ended up with a lot of POA back here. And I wasn't really working on my backyard so much to, do it and get it looking nice. I was really trying to get the front yard looking nice. So after I thatched it, I did the same thing again. I got 10 more yards of dirt in 2024. I dumped it all in the backyard here, and I put down the Kentucky Bluegrass blend that I bought, the Fairway Blues. And, it turned out okay. This is 2024 here in the backyard. And, it did well, but you see there on the top left, I have that tree that the neighbor has, and there's not a lot of sun back there, and I didn't get full germination in the whole backyard. So, I'm still working on that. That's kind of one of my projects for 2025 is getting my backyard in shape, because I was really happy with the way my front yard ended up turning out after my 2024 renovation that I did. And so this is April 2024. This is before the renovation, and you see, I got a lot of POA. I didn't really deal with the POA and everything. And here's a picture. I basically sprayed and killed all the POA spots. You can see there's some brown spots all over there. That's basically the POA. And I just basically put the topsoil over the top of all this and peat mossed it and redid the fairway grass with the Fairway Blues. Here's some germination. This one worked out a little bit better. I paid attention a lot more to the sprinklers. Here's the putting green. I didn't really do anything to that at this point. I did do some work later on in 2024, which you'll see here in a minute. But so this is the Kentucky Bluegrass coming in 2024. This is probably, I believe this is May 22nd, May 27th, something like that. It started coming in really good, about 3 weeks. Started getting some good coverage. I still did have a little bit of problems with some sprinklers, causing some washout because, this is a sloped area here. It kind of slopes down from the putting green towards the sidewalk. And so, this is June after my first mow, after I got my McLane reel mower. And so this is a project that I should never have done. I had a great idea to extend my putting green out, and this was a terrible idea. I basically cut out all this bluegrass around the edge of the putting green here. And the idea was to extend the putting green out because I really like the bent grass. And that project just didn't turn out that great. Here, I just did the same thing. I cut out these pieces here and replaced them because the edges of the grass was a little bit higher than the sidewalk and I wanted it level, so I did that. So in June, this is when I did that renovation, the putting green, and it was a fail. It really didn't do that well. I mean, the overseeding that I did on the main putting green area that was there turned out pretty well, but you see that big patch of peat moss there? Yeah, my peat moss spreader dumped open and put a big old pile there and basically ruined that spot. So, doing the Kentucky Bluegrass, this cut I really like. This is the bent grass putting green after I had done the reseeding. This was probably August of 2024. I was only cutting at 3 millimeters. I wasn't really, too into it, because you see there in the putting green area, I have bad patches from that reno I did of extending the putting green, and it just really bothered me. I started it way too late, it got way too hot, and then trying to mow it and keep on top of it, it just never took off. So, there it is right there. It turned out terrible. So I got to fix that in 2025. I'm going to go back to some Kentucky bluegrass. I'm going to make the grass area there along the walkway to the entrance to the house there, the sidewalk, and I'm going to extend the grass out a little bit further. And this is just a nice shot of the putting green. This is about a 3mm cut here. And so those light green spots, that's not POA. That's actually bent grass. I got bent grass mixed into my Kentucky bluegrass, and this is the start of me starting to deal with that. I basically used tenacity, and I'm currently working on spraying and killing all that. There's pretty much the effects of the tenacity on that bent grass. It's taking care of it. This is like January of this year, 2025. And the bent grass is going away, and I just got to deal with raking it out. And once I thatch, in the spring, most all that will come out. But, it's not growing. The grass is not growing right now. It's just too cold. So here's the McLane. I got this in after Memorial Day weekend of 2024. I was really excited when I got it, because I had sold my California trimmer, and this is probably the longest my green has ever been between cuttings right here. And I used the grass catcher because it was so long. I don't use the grass catcher. This is the only time I use the grass catcher, and I hated using it because it just doesn't work very well. I don't think, especially with the long grass like this. Now with the shorter grass, I'm sure it would work fine, but I reel mow, and I just like this right here, no grass catcher. This is November of 2024 right here. I had upgraded my roller to a smaller roller, which gave me the ability to cut the putting green down to 2mm. Everything about the McLane and the adjusting of the cut of height has to do with the roller. And this roller is about 1/4 of an inch, I believe, smaller than the original roller. It's all polyurethane. It's pretty much custom made, and I really like it. It's really nice. This cut here is it's so nice. You're going to see here in a minute. I got some pictures that I took of the putting green at 2mm and the ball. I've also done some putting. I added a hole and a flag, and here's basically, this is 3mm right here. This is not 2mm cut. It's a little long and scraggly, and I need to do some maintenance on my reel mower, on the blade. I really didn't do much to it last year. When I got that new roller, I wanted to sharpen the blade, but I just didn't. I just let it go, because with that bad spot on my putting green, I was getting a lot of sand and things like that getting caught up in the reel. So I didn't want to waste my time sharpening the blade, backlapping it with that like that. So that was my renovations, and that leads me to, my McLane and where we're going to go with that. I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.